Hello everyone, I'm Aaron, a birding naturalist. Welcome back. Have you ever been in Oregon or California and seen these squirrels on the ground, kind of grayish brownish, and wondered what they were? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Let's talk about California ground squirrel. So California ground squirrels are indeed native to a range from Oregon all the way through California and into Baja California as well, in Mexico. They are, interestingly, spreading north into Washington and becoming more and more common there. And this is consistent with climate change predictions. They are following their sort of environmental envelope of temperatures. As those temperatures move north, they move north with them. They're a really interesting organism. They have tons of fun behaviors. They, true to their name, live in the ground squirrel. They dig burrows. Each individual ground squirrel will dig its own individual burrow. And even when they live communally, which is common, and those burrows may connect, they each have their own specific entrance. Females will become sexually mature in about a year, so they reproduce pretty quickly. And while they only produce one litter of pups a year, that litter can range from 5 up to 11 babies. So they can produce a lot of babies. And they forage all over the place. They eat lots of stuff, again, usually on the ground, sticking with the theme. But they eat nuts and seeds, grasses, vegetation. They eat lots of different stuff, which they often will shove into their cheek pouches as they gather it and hold it there as storage, and then go back to their burrow and store it for later use, or feed it to their babies. They have a bunch of really interesting behaviors against rattlesnakes in particular, because rattlesnakes are a very common predator of California ground squirrels. For one thing, many California ground squirrels are actually at least mildly to moderately resistant to rattlesnake venom, which is pretty cool. And females, to disguise their baby's scent from a rattlesnake, will often find an old snake skin, chew it up, and then lick their babies, so that sort of their snake skinny saliva gets all over the babies, and that helps to hide them from the sniffing out from a rattlesnake. They also have this amazing behavior when they do see a rattlesnake. They can pump a lot of extra blood into their tails and then wave them back and forth really fast. And because rattlesnakes hunt with heat pits, they're heat sensing organisms, this cloud or fan of kind of hot blood infused tail movement can kind of confuse them. It makes the squirrel seem bigger than it actually is, which might make the snake think twice about attacking. And even when they do attack, often, they've got this waving tail back and forth. The snake may launch itself at kind of the wrong part at the wrong moment and miss. So it's a really cool defensive behavior. It also serves as a warning to other ground squirrels. If one ground squirrel sees a snake and starts doing that tail waving behavior, all the other ground squirrels pick up on that and say, oh, danger, watch out, let's get out of here. They often will also give this alarm call, a very sort of high-pitched squeak that, again, alerts all the other ground squirrels in the area, and sometimes other species as well that are sort of eavesdropping, to danger. Their burrows actually serve not only as habitat for themselves, a place for themselves to live and stay safe underground, hard to get to, but there are also many other reptiles, amphibians, insects, even mammals that will sometimes live in those burrows. Even burrowing owls, while they're called burrowing owls, don't really dig their own burrows. They usually live in an old ground squirrel burrow. So ground squirrels are an incredibly important part of the ecosystem. They're really fascinating organisms, really fun to see. And it's always really a pleasure to see what they're up to when you go out hiking. So I hope you enjoy the ground squirrels around you. And thank you very much for the view. Until next time, enjoy the natural world. Just as a reminder, it's always a very good principle to not feed wildlife, even when they're as cute as a California ground squirrel. Feeding wildlife habituates them to humans. It sees humans as a food resource. It means that animal-human interactions get closer and closer. Bites can happen, not good, and usually not good for the animal in particular. So, even though they're cute, and even though they may very well often beg from you for food, don't feed ground squirrels or any other wildlife species.